At number 8, we put our beloved Toronto Raptors. Boston, my team, knocked them out of the playoffs last year. I'm not a big Raptors fan. I'll be honest. I don't really like them. But
Bias.
I am biased because I really don't like the Raptors. I really don't like Nick Nurse. Not that he's a bad coach.
Better
He's a
coach
really
than
good
Brad
coach.
Stevens.
He's a good coach. He did not outcoach Brad Stevens because the winner of that series was Brad Stevens. But I don't know. Offseason was pretty good. Brought in Baines, Alex Len. We know him from Sacramento. Good energy guy, right? Good energy guy. Fights a lot. He's a guy that does the dirty work, right?
You're talking about him like he's one of those end of the bench high school players. That he's a good guy. He's an energy guy.
He's an enforcer. Well, truthfully, he is an end of the bench guy. DeAndre Bembry, I know he has his moments. Malachi Flynn could be the steal of the draft. He's a very advanced point guard. He's older, but he can really flourish, kind of like how Fred VanVleet did, with just playing his role early on, and then he'll lift up higher later on in his career. Now, they lost Ibaka, kind of a decent-sized loss. Gasol got played off the court by Boston in the playoffs. Truthfully, if Nick Nurse played Ibaka over Gasol, we're probably on our way home after that second round. Ibaka was killing us. I think he shot
Caleb.
He shot like 70% from deep. It was kind of ridiculous.
You weren't there.
Well, we would have. Starting lineup, it's the exact same as last year, except Baines is starting at center, not Ibaka or Gasol switching in and out. Good offseason, but I don't know. I don't think they got better. I don't think they got worse. I think they just stayed the same.
Yeah, it seems to be our trend of the day, just like with Dallas, just like with Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Toronto, they had a decent offseason, like you said. I like the Aaron Baines signing. I like Alex Len, but that's two bigs in the same position. So that doesn't really stand out too much to me. If you give me a choice between Serge Ibaka, Aaron Baines, Alex Len, I'm going to choose Serge Ibaka. So you can argue that they had a loss. You can argue that they had a bad free agency, I would say. That starting lineup, they kept Fred VanVleet. So that's probably a win for them, especially given the fact that most people are expecting Fred to leave and go to New York.
Oh, I know we were. That's where we projected him to go, New York. I was kind of shocked to see them shell out the money to keep him. I thought that he would go. But then again, you got to think Kyle Lowry's a free agent after this year. He could be gone. I'd imagine he is gone. He's going to be, 34, 35 after this year? Like, it's kind of time for him to move on, start ring chasing, you know what I mean?
I wouldn't be surprised if Toronto looks at trading him this year. They're not a team that will stay loyal to you for no reason. And we saw that with DeMar DeRozan.
Mm-hmm.
Starting lineup of Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, Pascal Siakam, and Aaron Baines. They have Norman Powell off the bench. I like him. He's a nice piece. Obviously, they drafted Malachi Flynn, as you mentioned. It's a decent team. It's nothing that screams at me that they're going to win a championship. Sorry, Raptors fans. You guys already won. You guys had the plant guy, and, he bought a Kawhi a plant. So that's the best chance you guys will ever have winning a championship again. I'm sorry, Raptors fans. At least you won. Hey.
Yeah, you got one.
Hey. That ain't happening anytime soon. Kings ain't winning anytime soon. So just be happy that you guys won one, because at the end of the day, that roster shouldn't even won a championship. I'm not going to get into the Warriors injuries, but
yeah. Don't upset them. Raptors fans get very angry very easily.
Yes, I know. Let's move on to our buy or sells, Caleb. First off,
that boy is grand, man. That boy is. I don't want to push his retirement, but he's, in my opinion, he's a Hall of Famer. In my opinion, he's heading there to be one of the best Raptors of all time. And what Kyle has done in this organization, the growth I've seen, you guys know, what we've all gone through the last 6 years. I will say this of Kyle: he's been incredibly respectful to the organization, and we will have that same incredible respect to Kyle anytime, every day. That there's no doubt about that, and we're proud of him. We're proud that he's lifted us like this. He's lifted himself like this, and we'll continue to support as much as we can with our basketball team. Winning, Kyle is a winner. Kyle wants to win, and even the times when we've got through hard times, there was never a question of trying or not trying. He's always giving it his best. So yes, he has our full support.
Buy.
Is Kyle Lowry a Hall of Famer? Are you buying or selling?
I'm gonna buy. It might shock a lot of people, but Kyle Lowry kind of had a later career resurgence, and I think there's something to like about that. It inspires younger players that maybe struggle. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good story. Also, the Basketball Hall of Fame is one of the weakest Hall of Fames in any of the pro sports. No offense to Bill Bradley, but when you average 12 points per game and 4 rebounds per game and you're a Hall of Famer, it's kind of hard to make an argument against anybody that has done anything good in their life.
Vladdy's a Hall of Famer.
What's that?
Vladdy.
Yeah, and Vlade Divac is a Hall of Famer, or however you say his last name. Either way, I'm not even going to respect him enough to look it up. Guy sucks. He's a Hall of Famer. The Hall of Fame in basketball really is not that challenging to make.
So are you saying Kyle Lowry sucks? That's what you're saying. All right,
No,
Caleb, I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry
I'm
if you're wrong that
I'm
person.
just saying that having the argument of is he a Hall of Famer, it's kind of pointless. If you win a championship, you're in a career for a while. He's probably one of the best Raptors ever. Let's be honest. Vince Carter, very good. Chris Bosh, very good. DeRozan, very good. But Lowry has been there, and he's a fan favorite there. I would imagine he's a Hall of Famer. Kind of a dumb argument to have. If you say hey, he's not a Hall of Famer, I'm just going to say you're an idiot.
Well, I'm going to disagree. I would say he's not a Hall of Famer. No, I'm kidding. I think I agree, obviously. He's a Hall of Famer, and half the reason is because anyone can get in the Hall of Fame. Me and Caleb will probably get in the Hall of Fame for this podcast at some point because it is a basketball Hall of Fame. It's not an NBA Hall of Fame. So wouldn't be surprised if we're up there at some point giving our speech. Kyle Lowry will probably be there within the next maybe decade. I don't know if he's going to be first ballot, though. That's probably not
first ballot, but he'll get in.
He'll definitely get in, and it would be a shocker to me if he doesn't because, like we said, the guys that are in there are scrubs.
The Basketball Hall of Fame, though, is so, it's just not what you'd expect. Like, people say, yeah, but Bill Bradley, he was a politician after basketball. It's like, okay, what does that have to do with the Basketball Hall of Fame? It has nothing to – sorry, I'm not going to –
the Basketball Hall of Fame after a white guy.
I'm not going to get into the whole Bill Bradley argument.
But they named the Hall of Fame after a white guy.
Well, I'm not shocked. He invented basketball.
Okay.
And he's Canadian, not white.
Next up, let's go to Pascal Siakam.
A couple of years ago, the Raptors surprisingly won the NBA championship. Then last season, you guys had to live with the expectations of being the defending champions.
What does that even mean?
Buy or sell, Caleb? Pascal Siakam's performance in the finals was a fluke. Fluke Walton.
Go ahead. What's up? You got angry.
I just said Fluke Walton. Just shut up and go.
Damn. Okay. Jeez. I'm gonna say sell. He was good in the regular season last year. I think the bubble is one of those really weird environments where you kind of knew some players were going to be good, some players were going to stink it up, like they were going to be lazy bones and not be good. But I think he's still good. I like Siakam, man. He's limited in his moves, but in the preseason he's looked good. I'm excited to see him this year. I do think he will bounce back. I'm gonna say sell. I don't think it was a fluke.
Caleb, did you say that you sold and because you're saying the bubble is all you meant you're gonna buy, right?
Yeah, sorry.
All right, well, the real podcast host will step up. I'm going to buy as well. I think it was an absolute fluke. I think Pascal Siakam's actually a much better player than that he showed in the bubble. Yeah, he's not the type of player where he's going to win a championship on his own. After last year, I remember I was watching a video of Pascal. He was on Serge Ibaka's cooking show. Have you watched it?
I've watched a couple. I haven't watched that specific episode.
Serge asked him, hey, Pascal, with Kawhi gone, how do you feel? And then he did like an evil smile and laughed, and I was like, haha. He's like, I'm ready. And then I was like, okay, so this guy's ready to be the face of that team now. Clearly, he was fine with Kawhi leaving. I think he has the potential to be a player that can help out Toronto, but also believe that he overrates himself just a little bit. Toronto put way too much pressure on him. I still believe he's a really good player, and I think he'll have a bounce back year next year, especially with how much people are going to be on his case.
I concur.
Last one. Let's go to Toronto Raptors coach Nick Nurse.
Had a lot of training, in the minors of guys coming and going constantly. And, after you get used to that, it spins your head around pretty good the first year or so of doing it. But then you just say, this is the world I'm living in. I better figure out how to thrive in this world I'm living in. So I think that, even like you said last year, we had a lot of bodies out a lot. And we just, we try to coach all the way through our roster, Doug, and make sure that the guys understand what we're doing. If we need them down past 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, whatever it is, as last year, I would say even times where there was an O'Shea Brissett who, closed out games on the road the whole fourth quarter. He's probably a two-way player, so he's down in 16, 17 slot, theoretically. So I think that just lots of years of training of being in strange environments and players coming and going and stuff like that would be what I would lean on. Yeah.
There's Nick Nurse, Caleb. Buy or sell, Nick Nurse is the next, quote, Greg Popovich of the league.
Sell. And only because, and now here's the thing, I think you can make an argument that he's that talented of a coach, but I'm going to sell because of his roster. Kind of like Kyle Lowry's getting older, he's leaving. Siakam kind of unproven as that number one role. Fred VanVleet's going to have to become your number one point guard. He's not going to be able to have Kyle Lowry there. I feel like with the roster construction, it's kind of going to be lacking. I mean, you got to think Greg Popovich had Tim Duncan. I mean, that's kind of, it's a little bit unfair. Kawhi Leonard, Tony Parker, Ginobili, all those guys probably be best Raptor ever. Not really fair for Nick Nurse to kind of be held on that pedestal right now.
I see your point, but I'm going to disagree. I'm going to buy. And the reason I'm going to buy is Nick Nurse, in the way of style of coaching, he reminds me a lot of Greg Popovich. And what I mean by that is look at the way he mentors young guys and really brings them up. He came, just like Pop, came from a background of coaching pretty much scrubs and coming into the NBA and having success at coaching guys that are not very good. And look at Toronto. He's developed so many players. Look at San Antonio. Greg Popovich has developed so many players in his time. Now, yes, the teams and the rosters are very different. Nick Nurse has never had a type of guy like a Tim Duncan before. But Greg Popovich also has had a lot of bad rosters. He had Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan at their ends of their careers, not even the end of their prime. They're much.
They have a young guy on the bench, by chance.
Oh,
named Kawhi Leonard.
They had Matt Bonner.
That's not who I was talking about. Gosh darn it! Move on.